there yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my living room here in Vancouver, Canada. So welcome. Today is Saturday, July 24th, 2021 and this is video number 118. So it's only been a few days since I updated you on my last podcast about my We Crochet purchase that I made back in last week in June, on some fingering weight yarn. But this podcast, I'm going to catch you up on some other things like updates, finished items, some works in progress, and a little bit of catch up as well on like what I've been up to with some lives that I've visited out there amongst my fiber friends who have channels, as well as what I've been watching, what I've been doing with hubby here, getting ready for our move. So packing up boxes and all the sort of ongoings and shenanigans, getting involved with moving house. So if you happen to have just watched this channel for the very first time and visiting, hi, my name is Gary and I'm the host of Urban Yarn. I've set this channel up to talk about all of my yarny adventures. That's in knit, crochet. I do dabble in a little bit of hand dyeing of yarn, but nothing on a huge scale. I talk about where I purchased my yarn from and my tools of my craft. So if that kind of stuff is of interest, please stick around. To my fiber friends returning, I again want to say thank you so much for the comments that you left me in the last video where I featured the Hawthorn fingering weight yarn from We Crochet, and I got some great suggestions there on what to use the yarn for, as well as I really find it fascinating that when people see the yarn that they've used that I'm featuring in my videos as well, they spark up great comments as well about like what they've made with their yarn. So I got some of those as well, and I've been looking at the patterns and also following some of the suggestions that you've given me for the yarn. So thank you so much for that. Let's jump into the podcast, shall we? So I've got two finished objects to share with you. The first one being crochet, and I did put this in my Instagram in a couple of photographs, and here it is here. I'll just come back a bit so you can see it all. It is the Waistcoat stitched basket. I always get that wrong. It's such a tongue twister, but it is a design from Stephanie Jessica Lau, and I absolutely had lots of fun making this up. The walls are quite sturdy, and the waistcoat stitch is a very dense stitch, so it does help with keeping the basket walls up. Now on Instagram I had some really good questions about how to get your walls to stand upright if you're making a basket. Now I've made some other baskets in the past using a finer weight cotton linen blend yarn, and I thought, oh, this is going to work really well. But there are some general rules in making your basket's walls stand up, and I believe it's to do with your stitch as well as the thickness of the yarn and hook size. So a great combination of all three things that need to be met, but also how high you decide to make the wall. So the higher you go, generally the thicker the yarn needs to be and the denser the stitch, so that you can get more height on your baskets. So this one is teetering on the fact that it is almost buckling. The walls are probably at the height that the limit of this style of combination of yarn, hook and stitch is. I would say that I would have liked to have probably gone down 1 more inch to make the walls even a bit more sturdier. But yeah, so I'll talk about the yarn and the hook size. And this particular waistcoat basket is one of my Make 9 card items that I threw in for 2021. So I'm doing really well with my makes, and I'm checking off my list as well, because it is just a call to action card. There's no stress if I don't finish all my Make 9 in the full year, 12-month period. I don't mind, they'll just carry on over to 2022. But when I do have a bit of a kind of I guess a blockage of ideas, I can always go to my Make 9 cart and have some resources there where I have picked items from earlier on in the year, challenging myself on something new. So that's either with a stitch work or perhaps maybe some sort of pattern that I have not tried before. So yeah, really loved this make. Now, the yarn that I used was, I'm gonna have to go over there, so I'm gonna stop the camera to get my stuff. So now I have the yarn in hand. It is the Durable Cozy. This yarn was generously gifted to me by Stitch Naturally, which is a yarn company down in the States. They are introducing this new line of European yarn. It is manufactured and made in Holland, I believe, so in Europe, and Stitch Naturally are introducing it to the North American market and sent it to me generously to see what I could make with it and get my opinion of the yarn, and I absolutely love it. So there's no affiliation with myself and Stitch Naturally, but those folks down there are amazing. Back to the amazing yarn here. This is a cotton acrylic blend, so it's 50 cotton, 50 acrylic, great for, it's super soft, but it's a bit starchy, and it's great for making tight stitches. I found that when I was doing the waistcoat stitch in the basket pattern, that I wanted to go down a size in needle and pair my yarns that would work really well for the walls. Now this yarn, I could squeeze the small hook through the tight space of the waistcoat stitch because it had a little bit of give to it. I did have to take some breaks because it was quite a difficult stitch to do in such tight confined area, but this yarn was really good for letting the space expand enough for the hook to get through. So it was a really nice yarn, did not split, so that was a bonus as well. So yeah, I have told you what the makeup is of the yarn, the colorway, and you can also machine wash this, but they say to lay flat to dry. So yeah, this was one of the yarns that I used in conjunction with another yarn, which everyone's probably heard about, and it's the Caron cake here, the Cotton Angel Cakes in the colorway Pepper. So it paired really, really nice with it. It is a lighter weight yarn, so it's a 4 classified yarn, worsted weight, and I had put those two together to make the walls extra sturdy, to give it a bit of thickness. So let's take a look at what I had done and talk about the hook size. So in the basket, the base here is a half double crochet in the round, and I did 2 extra rounds to make the base a little bit wider, have a bit bigger basket to the pattern. Now the pattern is a free pattern, so I can tell you a little bit about it and what I had changed up in it, and I'll link the pattern down below if you're interested in making one yourself. And I used a 5.5 millimeter for the base in my hook size. The walls are done in a 6.5 millimeter. So I did that because I was finding it difficult to get the wall sturdy enough with 5.5 and get my hook through the hole because the stitches were so tight. So I went up a size and I went to a 6.5 millimeter because the 2 yarns held together meant that the stitch was actually tighter than what it would have been just for the one yarn held separately. So yeah, changed up one other thing in it as well was the handles. So in the pattern they call for a chain across, and then the next round is to do this reverse single crochet to get this nice thick bulky rim. But what I had done was I did an extra round of the waistcoat stitch to get it a little thicker, so you can see underneath there's 1 extra round, and then on top of that I did the single crochet, reverse crochet around the edge to get it nice and sturdy. So yeah, the handles then became a little bit more durable to pick up if I had something heavier in the bag, as we have someone crossing the front of our building dragging a shopping cart. So excuse the noise. So I really had a lot of fun with this. So what the generous folk down at Stitch Naturally have done for us here at Urban Yarn is they've created a bit of a coupon code for us, a discount of 15% off their durable yarn. It's going to be on until November 15th, 2021, and at checkout, if you visit their online store, stitchnaturally.com, you'll be able to plug in the Urban Yarn 15%, and you'll get 15% off their durable collection. So that is fantastic. So the next thing that I want to showcase is a finished knitted item, and it was requested by a family member around 6 months ago. I believe the family member has probably forgotten that the request was put in, but her birthday's coming up and I'm going to surprise her by gifting her this tea cozy. Now, she showed me the teapot that she had in the kitchen 6 months ago when she requested it. She said, I would like a tea cozy to put over this teapot. It was a 2-cup teapot, and I don't have one here to show you, but I do have a garlic. It's a garlic container, and this garlic container is pretty much the same shape and size as the teapot that she showed me. So this is the Shamrock Tea Cosy, and it's a free pattern. I'll link it down below in the description box, and it is a wonderful, easy make to do. And what I did was I knitted up the 2 panels and then seamed them together. The openings are here for the spout and the handle. The request originally was to have it in purple, so I went through my stash and I found this yarn here, which I'll talk about in a moment. So let's talk about the pattern. The Shamrock Tea Cosy is a pattern that was designed by Kirsty Wallace-Horan. I love this pattern so much. So yeah, I think she's going to be very, very thrilled to get her tea cozy, and she probably has forgotten all about it. So I hadn't. So her birthday is the 1st of August, and I will be happy to give that to her in a week. So the yarn that I used was, I love this yarn in the colorway, I think it's amethyst. Yeah, amethyst. So in this lovely purple color. And this yarn was generously gifted to me by Lisa, and Lisa has a YouTube channel called Epic Yarn Gems. Hi Lisa. And I absolutely loved working with this. It's super, super soft. It is a 4-weight yarn, and I used a knitting needle of, let's have a look, I have them here, 4.5 millimeters, and they were on my bamboo straights from Clover. Very, very nice needles to use. And that was that one. Moving right along, I have some updates to share with you on 2 different things that I'm working on. And the first one being where I'm at with my Stephen West's Vertices Unite. Make sure that I'm showing the right side. No, I probably wasn't. There we go. The other project just fell on the ground. And here I am. You've seen section 1, which is the yellow gray, and section 2, which is the purpley blue. And now I've completed section 3, which is these rusty reds and crimson color. Absolutely love working this. So I have a little tip for anyone who is tackling this project. And in section 3, what I found was interesting, to say the least, was I had to be very conscientious when I was linking my joins here. And I'm not giving away too much of the pattern. I'm just giving a little bit of a fair warning here that when you're kind of watching a show or something and you're not really looking at what you're doing down here with the join, is that it's quite essential to capture both of the yarns that Stephen has written up in his pattern here. Mr. West asks you to do a special, I guess, a join technique. And if you miss one of the loops, it does unravel the whole section. So I found that out by the hard way. I was up probably around here and I missed one of the loops, the loop that I needed to kind of link the piece together. And I continued working the rows. I got like 3 rows in and I noticed that it was, the hole was increasingly getting bigger and separating the yellow part from the red part. So that would be my tip, is to concentrate, making sure that you capture the loops that are needed for the joining of the 2 pieces. So yeah, but I'm loving the way that the colors are working out. They are, just to recap on the colors was a hand-dyed yarn that I cooked up in the kitchen called Girl on Fire. It was inspired by the Hunger Games, and I use crimsons, I use a scarlet color, a little bit of orange, and then I threw in some like a burnt sienna color called chestnut, so it kind of made it a little bit darker and toastier. And the second color that I'm using is Willow Stream in the colorway Pomegranate. So those two together made section 3. Really enjoyed working up that section. So my next one is section 4, and it will be in color D, which is I think it rolled out on the ground, yes it did, is this color here. It's kind of a multitude of different hues, so we've got some blues in there, purple, and some gray. So those are going to be in my section 4, and yeah, I can't wait to work that section up. I think it's going to get quicker from here on in, because the 3 sections that I've done so far have been the large panels. The remaining 3, because there's 6 sections, I found out, I thought there were 5, but there's 6. They're a bit smaller, so I think the project's going to go a bit quicker than it has been in the past. So yeah, I'm using a 3mm set of knitting needles, and they are these ones here because I finished the sections. These are free needles, and that's what I'm using. It is the Leica in the wooden driftwood series that they have, and it is a 40-inch circular set of needles and 3mm needle tips. So yeah, I really like these needles. A little bit of memory in the cord, but nothing too fussy if it's packed with stitches. So the weight actually helps keep the cord a little bit more manageable. So the next update is work on my socks, and I have to say I finished my 1 sock. They do come in 2s, and I'll show you where I'm at with the second one. But I can say I finished 1 sock, which is awesome. They came to me through way of a friend, Melinda. Hi, Melinda. She sent me these wonderful tubes as well as the instructions to how to create the sock from a tube, and all of the goodies that go with it, like the little cutting implement, as well as some lifeline thread, and what else was in the goodies? Oh, and the pattern, obviously. But the tubes were a great help because I could practice doing all of the steps without having to knit the tube, and that was kind of like daunting to me to think of, to have to do on such tight, confined circular knitting needles. So I loved and can tell that I will probably not pick up sock making as a regular thing, but I know that there are so many ways of doing socks, and now I know what people are talking about when they mention an afterthought heel or putting in a lifeline and then sort of cutting the row of yarn where you are making the incision to put your afterthought heel into. So I can get an idea, a visual of what that all entails. So let's take a look at all of the things that I added to the tube. So I did the cuff here on the first, as my first step, although in the pattern I believe it's step number 3. And then what I did was I did the second step, which was the lifelines, and then picked up all the life stitches from the incision part and made the heel, and then likewise did the incision to cut off the rest of the tube because the tube was quite long, and picked up the live stitches and created the toe. So those were the steps that I had done for this particular sock. So what can I tell you about the wonderful sock that you're seeing here right now is it is a yarn that was was cranked out as a tube from this brand here. I believe it might be a Hirschner's brand, and it's called Sundance Soulful Stripes in the colorway green. So really, really nice patterning sock here. I liked the colors. Very good selection, Melinda, to gift me this wonderful green sock. And the cuff, heel, and toe yarn that I used was from Drops Yarn, and it is from their Fable collection. It's a fingering weight yarn, and it is I believe it's a wool polyamide. Yeah, it's wool polyamide, and it is in the colorway 300. So nice kind of grayish brown color there. And I used a 3mm set of DPNs. For some strange reason, the DPN set that I purchased only had 4 needles in it, not the 5th one. So I've been using my Likey cord cable needle to include it as the 5th needle. So yeah, it's just that us crafters need to be a bit resourceful if we don't have the appropriate tools. So that was my sock, my first finished sock. This here is the second one, where I've done the cuff on it. And how the tube comes, or how it came to me, Melinda had cranked out some waist thread here, and then actually cranked out the actual sock yarn, and it was the same way at the end as well. The crank had the waist yarn at the end, so I had to pull back the waist yarn and pick up the stitches of the live tube and knit the 2x2 ribbing and figure out the desired length that goes up my leg. Really nice, tight. It's a tight fit, so lots of negative ease in this sock tube. I believe there were 60 stitches, and I had put in my 2 lifelines here using the lifeline. It's actually, I believe it's like, what is it called? Floss, dental floss for teeth. And it was like a little, provided in a little container that I just sort of, plucked out. And you create the 2 lifelines here. You make the incision, you capture the stitches around, and this is where I'm getting my double pointed needles, using them there, where I'm coming in with the 5th needle here and knitting around. So yeah, I'm almost done. I have the heel here, and then the lifeline and the incision to cut away this excess tube, and then I will pick up stitches and knit the toe portion of the second sock. So I will do a little song and dance for the next video, or when that is ready and finished for the next video, and you'll be able to see me wearing my socks. So I'll either add it to the intro or the exit video. I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, I believe that catches you up on everything that I've got to talk about as the plane goes over. I'm going to catch you up now on what I've been up to. So as you are aware, I love my yarning community. If not, maybe this is new to you. I do go across and try and visit lots of my yarny friends who have their YouTube channels. So I have a couple of lives to tell people that I was included in, as well as the fun shenanigans that went on down in these lives. So bear with me for a moment. So I visited J Hook Crochet, which is Reggie, and she was celebrating her birthday. Hi Reggie, and happy belated birthday. She was hosting a special never ever have I ... and you answered the question that she posed, and you were put into a random comment picker, and you won prizes. So I was fortunate enough to be picked with the random comment picker, not once, but twice. So that was awesome. And I can't recall what never have I ever questions I answered to actually win these prizes. But I am wonderfully excited about using a coupon code that Reggie has gifted me on a new yarn dyer that I have not known of before. Her name is Emily, and I'll link Emily's website address down below. And I love all of her yarn that she has there. I just need to make a choice, and that's what's been difficult. So I haven't quite yet put in my request for the coupon that I won. The second thing that I won was a mystery box. So I'm not too sure what is inside of it. So I'll be very, very excited to show everyone what comes to me. And I think it's in the person who is making the box up isn't Reggie. It is another friend of Reggie's called Catherine. So hi Catherine. I am super excited to see what is in the box that I received. The other thing that we had that was a lot of fun that I visited was Lisa's Crochet, and now that's Lisa, and she was hosting, I think it was a marathon of 6 hours. I didn't stay for the whole 6 hours, but I did come in at an unusual time. There was a lot of singing going on and lots of fun times to be had. So that was awesome. And I also visited Granny D. Hi Granny D. So she has a YouTube channel called Knit, Pearl and Squirrel, and with Granny D Thompson, and I always pop in whenever I can, because after about a month or so I do miss seeing her and cheering her on with her wonderful podcast that she has. The other one that I visited was Rose from Rose Likes Crochet. Hi Rose! So she had a fun panel the other Saturday that just went by, and I didn't realize that she had a monthly live, so I jumped in there and I said hi. There's a few that I lurk in on as well, and I just sort of sit back, and as I'm working I have my hands busy, so I can't really type any letters. But yeah, I really love the community, and I do love how welcomed I feel and how everyone feels when they come and visit these amazing people in their lives. I'm not there yet myself, because I feel that there's a lot of added pressure when it's a live. You can't do any like stopping or editing. So yeah, I think I would be a little tongue-tied and a little kind of, I don't know, pressured in some way. It's quite stressful. So yeah, lives aren't for me right now. So yeah, the things that I've been watching in amongst packing boxes with Hubby, I just want to talk about those things, because that's been making up a lot of my kind of entertainment while I'm crafting. So maybe some of these things you've tried out as well, watching, and you maybe like them as well. So I've watched Manifest, which is a new series. They're in season 1, I believe, and it's quite an interesting play on science fiction, a little bit of like time warp, all that sort of stuff, without giving too much away. The characters are kind of earthly characters, so like people that you would see in normal life, but they've been sort of struck with some abilities, so to speak. The other one is Atypical, which is on season 4. Now, the Atypical and Manifest, they're both on Netflix. And Atypical is about a family and all the characters' ongoings with their life. So it's tailored to be a little bit humorous, but there are some touching moments there on really heartfelt kind of things that young adolescents go through. There's a mum and dad, and then there are teenage to adult children. And the last one is Mosquito Coast, which is a Apple TV series. And we started that, but kind of fell off the wagon a bit. But the first couple of episodes that we saw, probably half of the season, maybe a full season, and into the second season, I'm not too sure. The characters were amazing. They developed them very well. There was very intense moments with you know, I guess the underbelly of society, like all of the subcultures that run in the drug trade or in across international borders, like in Mexico and in some parts of the States. So it's about fugitives. It's about a family kind of like surviving on the run. So if that kind of thing is of interest to you, maybe check that one out as well if you have Apple TV. So with that, I think that catches you up on everything. I wish everyone a great weekend. We are sitting on a Saturday, so whenever I post this or you're watching it, I want everyone to have a great day, great evening, and yeah, I will look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Bye for now.